So I had been working at Ion Austin on the Thief series, which I followed from Looking Glass, and I had been talking with Todd Howard, and he was telling me about, this is, Morrowind had come out, and he was sort of hinting at what Oblivion could be. He had sent me an email. I think he sent me an email once that was like, wait for it, ... and that was the whole email. And then the next email was like a day later, and it was like, procedurally generated forests. Tell me more. So it was like, you was sort of like putting the hooks in. Yeah. I usually have a weird, sort of blueprint in my head for something I want to do. Like when I was working on the Thief games, there's a rooftop quest. And people would never know this, but the inspiration for that was I'm mapping in the original Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six PC game, there was a rooftop map. I was like, this is really cool. If I did my version of this, it would be like this. And so the story in Dark Brotherhood is really like Bourne Identity. It's, you're an assassin and you don't know who you're fighting and doing these little twists. The experience of working on Oblivion as a quest designer was really interesting because you had a quest designer, back then it was just a designer, who was assigned to do a quest line. And we did not have the system of checks and balances that we have now. So I was left to my own devices for way too long, way longer than I should have. And that was the same of all the quests, the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild. So I'm in my little zone just working on the Dark Brotherhood, and I looked at the Dark Brotherhood fiction, the stuff from Morrowind, and I was like, doesn't really fit what I want to do. I want to change the lore. So I asked Todd, I'm like, hey, can I make changes? He's like, hey, go ahead, go nuts. And I'm like, okay, great.
Won't you die?
What do I do? How do I draw upon what I know about it? Because write what you know is a big thing, and I don't know much about being a medieval assassin. So, but I was raised Catholic, and so the entire structure of the storyline and the lore in the Dark Brotherhood and Oblivion is really a twisted sort of bastardization of Catholicism.
Right.
There's Sithis is God, there's the Night Mother is Mary. So it was really easy for me to just let's take this, make it evil, and turn those dials and flip those switches, and it just all fell into place.
Right.
And that probably says more about Catholicism than me, but I don't know.
You sleep rather soundly for a murderer. That's good. You'll need a clear conscience for what I'm about to propose.
The funny thing about the Dark Brotherhood, it is really, unlike a lot of trends in assassin games, there's not a lot of moral ambiguity. Actually, it's like, you're a murderer and you get paid for it. So how do I make that acceptable? And so a lot of times the people you're killing, they deserve it. You know what I mean? It's sort of the Dexter thing where they're scumbags. But a lot of times there was this term we used, deliciously evil. You just have to have this really dark sense of humor about it. So when you're sent to kill someone, you find the dark humor in that, and you have to lighten it up in parts and not make it too dark, because then you dwell on, really, I'm a horrible murdering person, and I don't.
Welcome, brother. So good to finally meet you. I hope you're getting along all right.
That was part of it. Let's make it like a family of rejects. Of a sad. There's the vampire guy over here. There's the cat who hates you until then at the very end of the game, he decides he's been wrong and he likes you, and then you come back and he's been horribly murdered. So little twists like that.
Get away from me.
I remember, I think it's my single worst day here. It was during Oblivion. I remember it was working on the Dark Brotherhood, and it was Christmas Eve. In the Dark Brotherhood, Lucian Lachance is the evil assassin guy who is your intro into the guild, and he shows up at your bed when you sleep. And that was broken, so broken. He would show up across the room, or he would show up and he'd be facing the opposite direction, oh God, it was infuriating. I couldn't get it to work. And it's Christmas Eve, and I'm trying to get this thing to work, and it's gotta be 8 or 9 o'clock, and I have 2 young kids at home, and my wife was waiting for me, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't fix it, and and I knew that if I didn't fix it, I'm going on Christmas break, and I'm gonna obsess over this thing for a week, and I couldn't get it fixed. And I remember leaving late Christmas Eve, angry. I'll have to go home to my kids. Great. Like, and this Lucian chance is broken. I was so mad, and I just wanted to get it to work. And I couldn't. I just remember coming back after the Christmas break, just like diving right in and finally getting it all fixed. But boy, that was ugly.
Sometimes you need that break.
Yeah, I guess that what does that tell you? I think I needed the break at that point. So, yeah. In Skyrim, the Dark Brotherhood, you get the "we know," the note that just says "we know," and I came up with that. I'm like, I like this, and then I start. Any game developer knows this. When you start to really think about something, you start to overthink it. And I went to Todd. I'm like, this "we know" thing is too vague. It's like no one's gonna know what that means. We gotta they have to write out a note or something. And he's looking at like, you're crazy. The people will get it. Just don't change it.
This is Todd Howard who sent you one-sentence emails, so he knows.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. I never quite thought about that. That's exactly right. And sure enough, he was right. Like, people get it, because in the age of the internet too.
Right.
2 seconds later, if you don't understand something or know something, you want to find content, you can find it.